Hi everyone, Voices of DD, segment number 4. This one's a little different than the other ones. Rather than me interviewing, myself and Neera Kohli are going to have a bit of a discussion about the Chartered Accounting designation, why become a CA, and what's the advantages of becoming one. Thanks for being on the show, Neera.
Thanks for having me.
So, just to give you a bit of background, I worked at KPMG. I was working in their audit practice, and I also got to work a bit with the consulting side of things at KPMG. And Neera, maybe you can tell us a bit about where you were working.
Okay, so I worked at Robinson Lawton Broman, which is a smaller firm in Guelph. I got to work in auditing, personal tax, corporate tax, as well as a bit of investment stuff, but not too much, mostly taxation and audit.
So there you go. You have two very different perspectives. What it's like working in a big, one of the big 4 CA firms, one of the larger companies, and some of the mid-sized companies where the experience might be a little bit more. So first things first, why are we doing the CA, Neera?
Okay, well, CA is something that I feel gives you a very strong foundation in whatever you want to do. It helps enrich any entrepreneurial spirit you have. If you have any need to just run a business, be up in management or something, it gives you a good foundation to access all types of industries. And CAs are found in every industry, in every company, mostly in upper management as well. I think a large percentage of them, a large percentage of upper management do have CA as a background.
Like one of the interesting statistics is that like 66% in Canada, out of the top 6 positions in your company, so that'd be CEO, CFO, COO, those type of positions, 66% of them in Canada right now are CAs, that they have the CA designation. I think the reason is, a lot of designations you learn about business at a very high level. Our BBA program, we learn about business at a high level. But when you have your CA, you learn about businesses from the base up. You learn about how they function at a lower level. And that's kind of why you can move on to a management position.
It's true, and even in your co-op experience, I know for me, I did a lot of notice to reader files, which is where you actually take a company and you take their whole year's worth of activity and prepare their financial statements that they're going to do in their board meetings and whatnot. And the ability to analyze the difference from year to year helps the client appreciate you more, obviously, because you can give them more pointers and more advice on how to better run their business. So you get to do it from a very detailed point of building the reports, as well as from a higher level of actually analyzing how's your business doing.
I think there's 2 stereotypes, with any accounting profession that we kind of want to dispel. One, everyone sort of thinks that accounting work is actually very monotonous, but I think if you work in an accounting firm, you get to do a lot of different work. I do agree that sometimes the accounting work can be boring. I did find myself bored at many times. But one thing I did notice is that you get to learn a lot. If I compare myself to a lot of my other friends in similar co-op positions or in finance or something like that, I think I learned a ton. It's because you get to see so many different businesses. I was in audit, so I got to go around to a variety of companies. I got to audit a nuclear company, a pharmaceutical company, I got to actually audit a finance firm, a company that made solar panels. So you hit so many different industries, and you learn about all of those industries from the base up. So the learning opportunity here is huge.
I agree. Even in my audit experience, I did municipalities, which is very interesting because they're not-for-profit organizations. I also I was on the auditing team for Habitat for Humanity, which is a very big client. But then I also got to do the Egg Farmers of Ontario, which is just like the the commission for all people who farm eggs, as well as a construction company. So
This is why you see so many CAs in different positions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You learn about so many different industries just by looking at it from the financial side.
So there's a couple ways you can actually get your CA, and what you basically have is there's a lot of people who take the traditional route to getting a CA. They start in accounting firms such as KPMG or RLB. There's other big 4 firms that you've all heard of like Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers. You get into that firm, you do your work experience with them, and they also train you towards your CA exams. Now, these take the traditional accounting route. You do accounting work like audit, tax, and that type of thing. There's also the non-traditional route, which is becoming very popular nowadays, and that's companies like RIM, Manulife, RBC, General Electric. These big companies have amazing finance programs and accounting programs within their own company, so they sort of set you up for the long run, and they'll train you towards your CA. The only difference is that at some point, you have to do some audit experience because it's necessary to get your CA. So maybe you do 1 term with a company like KPMG or RLB, and then you can branch off and do your experience with companies like GE, Manulife, and RIM. So lots of different places to get to hit. So Neera, the double degree, tell us a bit about how to get the CA if you are a double degree.
Okay, so you would major in accounting through Laurier, and then you can take whatever you want in Waterloo. So I know you're doing a CS minor, and I know a lot of people that are doing many different things. So your Waterloo side is completely open. Whatever you want to really take interest in or feel will support you and support your CA pursuit, I guess, is up to you.
One thing I wanted to point out is that myself and Nira are actually doing CFAs alongside our CA. So our whole point is, let's do the CA through Laurier as our accounting major, but on the Waterloo side, let's take all the, whatever finance courses or math courses that we're interested in order to, work towards some other certification alongside. So just because you're doing your CA doesn't mean that there's a lot of other things you can do alongside with it.
Also, just by majoring in accounting is enough. There's a lot of extra courses that the Institute of Chartered Accountants makes you take in order to receive your credit hours, I believe they are, in order to achieve your designation. So it's not just about, taking the courses to get your major and writing your exams. There's a lot that goes into becoming a CA.
One thing up till this term is that a lot of double degrees tend to focus on finance positions rather than the accounting positions. And if you looked at percentage charts and stuff like that, most of DDs tended to shy away from accounting. One of the things that we've sort of noticed, at least me and myself and Nira sort of started to see as we came into the program is, yeah, if we block off Laurier and target the CA, all those stuff we're interested in finance and all those type of things, those courses are available through Waterloo. And if you look at our math faculty, the ACSI courses, the stats courses, they're pretty interesting and they're really related to a lot of the finance stuff that we want to do as well. So that's sort of the opportunity. If you do want to do a CA, you're not limiting your other opportunities elsewhere.
So I think the key there, though, is with anything that you pursue, it's not just about CA, just to plan early. Decide kind of what you want to do and make a rough estimate of what you want to take when, to make sure that you don't get too far down the road and then you have to tack on an extra term or something.
We have a few extra courses that you have to take in order to do the CA, some mandatory requirements, and so planning ahead definitely makes it a lot easier. So Nira is the very much the organized one when it comes between the two of us. So if you have any information, if you have any questions or any information you want, I'd suggest you contact her. Don't get in touch with me, and she'll be able to help you a lot with the planning process, how to set up, what are the courses to take, and what are some of the stuff you can do through Waterloo at the same time. Also, we have lots of information on the website, and the icao.com has all these details.
Yeah, they're very helpful.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, Nira's the one to get in contact with, and thanks again for joining us for Voices of DD.